I read a crazy article
Mm.
this last week.
Okay.
With from the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh.
Yeah.
They write articles?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, like I don't know if you've ever I don't think I've ever actually asked you, like, have you had Jehovah's Witnesses come to your door and like
When I was little, well, little's not even the word. When I was like preteen, I think is the last time I can remember like having a Jehovah's Witness come to the house.
I don't know who they're going to because I don't think I've maybe once ever had a Jehovah's Witness.
They did, and they knocked on the door. And I think me and a friend were there, and we were basically like, our parents aren't home.
Yeah.
Because they can't talk to us. Well, they didn't.
Yeah, they shouldn't. That's for sure.
They may have come back later and talked to my stepdad, which is not a situation you want to find yourself in.
Not smart.
Not that he was a man. Not that he was a man. Not that he was mean to strangers, but like
he could be.
He's just an honest dude. Like he didn't like beat around the bush. So like he's not the person you want to go proselytize to.
Right. Yeah. Selling your religion to
because I don't actually know what he believed in because it just wasn't a part of his life.
Right.
Which makes me think he was an atheist. But who knows? Because he never talked about it.
Right.
But we never saw them again. So problem solved.
Next thing we knew, there was a new gazebo in the back. He had a big thing about him being the only one to bury to dig the foundation for it.
Oh, you wouldn't need it. We lived in the middle of nowhere. You wouldn't need a gazebo.
No.
Go back out far enough in the field.
Yeah. Just a couple times in my entire life have Jehovah's Witnesses come by. But I always wonder if that's because they're tracked.
I was going to say, maybe you're on some sort of registry that's like
Jehovah's. Yeah. XJWs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I read this article. So they normally when they go door to door, this is what got us on that. Normally when they go to door, they try and give you watchtowers.
Okay.
Which is their magazine.
Sure.
Right. And so
it's one of those little ones, right?
There's the tracks, which are the small ones.
Okay.
Like kind of like a pamphlet or something like that.
You see in like grocery stores and shit.
Yeah. So they'll give those out to people also.
Okay.
And that's like sorry, we missed you, and they'll stick it, on your door or something.
Okay.
But then there's the watchtowers, which back in the day, like my mom would tell you, she used to have to try and sell them to people for like 10 cents each, and it's like, why would I, like, what are you, Girl Scouts? Like,
right.
Why am I going to spend 10 cents on a magazine I'm not going to read?
Right. Propaganda.
Right. So anyway, but then they almost lost their non-profit status on that.
Because they were selling them?
Yeah, my understanding is if they kept doing that, they would lose their non-profit status. So they had to start giving them away, which actually means that the Jehovah's Witnesses giving them to you had to buy them. Which is the fucked up thing, It's
interesting because I wonder then if that's because the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts both sell things and they're still both nonprofits.
Yeah. Yeah, they're selling it to raise money for their organization.
So are you saying the Jehovah's Witnesses were selling these not for money to fund back into the organization?
They were. I don't know how that works. I don't know. This is just like what I was told growing up was why they stopped doing it. So maybe there's more to the story.
And you were too little to be like, but what about the Girl Scouts?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They sell cookies. All the time.
But they're also not a religion, and I wonder if there's a difference between that.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know the nuances of various nonprofits.
Right. Yeah. And their tax exemption status. Yeah. The article is from the September 15th, 1973 Watchtower.
Okay.
It's called Breaking Free of Self-Abuse --why ? How ?
Okay.
Terrible title.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's obvious, but breaking free of self-abuse. It's about masturbation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to summarize the vast majority of this, but I was surprised at how lengthy this was.
Well, you really have to give a description on how to stop masturbating.
Well, yeah.
And why, because it is so pleasant.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like that's a hard thing to break in somebody.
Right.
But it talks about a study that shows masturbation doesn't do any physical harm like people have suggested for years, especially back in the 70s. There was still a ton of stuff that people were saying about like how it would mutilate your genitals and stuff like that, really crazy stuff. And then they say that the United Presbyterian Church says that they found no physical or theological reason people couldn't masturbate. And they claim that there's this film by the Methodists that they produced that claim masturbation is a valuable alternative to intercourse and explains how to masturbate and stuff like that. I didn't bother fact checking any of this stuff. They don't cite any sources throughout this article.
Well, it's not a peer reviewed paper.
No, they don't cite any sources except for Bible verses. That's the only citing of sources that they do.
And the Bible talks a lot about masturbation, right?
There's at least one verse that I know of, and we talked about it before, the onanism verse, where it was Reuben's son Onan who pulled out during sex and God killed him over it.
Right.
And we got no real description of why God decided he was evil because of that. But now, masturbation is called onanism.
Oh, because you're wasting the seed? Is that the idea?
He allowed his seed to spill.
Oh, well, what about women? I don't have seed to spill.
I know. I don't know.
So does that mean it's okay for women to masturbate, not men in religion?
You would think. You would think there's nothing said about it as far as I'm aware, but
it sounds like to me that guys just aren't allowed to come unless it's in a lady's vagina.
Yeah. It's really just meant to frustrate men.
Right. Yeah. Into anger and violence.
Yeah. Into fighting over women. That hasn't ended poorly for everybody. Right. So there's this statistic that they use that says 95% of boys and 40 to 50% of girls will masturbate at some point.
Well, that's a lie.
I know.
Yeah.
It's 100% of people.
It is. It is. It might be 99%.
Yeah. So clearly this is a quote normal unquote. This is a normal and common thing to do. But just because something is common doesn't mean it's good. The common cold is common. Lying and stealing is common. Using tobacco is common. Jehovah's Witnesses, by the way, are very anti-tobacco. They always have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just tobacco or anti all vices? They don't drink either, right?
You can drink. You shouldn't drink to drunkenness. You shouldn't drink to excess.
I see.
Right. But you can have a beer and stuff like that. Right.
Right.
They do cede that there isn't any serious physical harmful effects of masturbating in this article. They point out opinions that the most harmful aspect of masturbation is the guilt people feel around it. At this point, I'm starting to wonder, as I was reading this, if this article is going to be pro-masturbation.
Right.
Because I'm like, especially for 1973, it's like they're actually kind of like in line on this stuff. Like, okay, there's no physical harmful effects. Right. They're acknowledging that guilt from the person masturbating is the biggest harmful effect of it and everything. And then we get, quote, because masturbation is unnatural. And it goes on to say, with adolescence comes an inner awareness that tells the male his satisfaction of sexual desire is to be found in the female, and vice versa. Masturbation, like homosexuality, ignores or bypasses that natural arrangement. It is one form of leaving, quote, the natural use of the female, unquote, for, quote, one contrary to nature, unquote. The natural use of the female.
That is so fun. There's so many fucked up things in that one paragraph.
This gets so much weirder.
It does?
This article gets so much weirder.
Fuck?
I can't even it was crazy because what I caught was the last thing we're going to cover.
Okay.
On this. And then I started reading the whole thing. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
Oh my God.
So obviously this cripples the masturbator's ability to grow emotionally or socially, right? They're by masturbating, they can't grow into.
Oh, because they're doing it all the time?
I guess.
Is that what's going on?
Apparently. Yeah. Then there's a bunch of bullshit about how nocturnal emissions are the body's way of dealing with the buildup of sperm. They basically have just given up on explaining female masturbation. They
mentioned it at the beginning that a percentage of females do it, and then it's just like the something dudes do.
Last they talk about it, pretty much. Yeah. And then there's more bullshit about the Christian view of sex. And then we get to the prevention and cure section. Yeah.
Why are the people? Religious people are the worst.
So this is the really fucked up paragraph here. Okay. If one understands the cause, it is easier to implement the prevention and cure of a bad habit. Did you know, for example, that mothers and fathers who stroke their genitals of their fretful babies to keep them quiet are unwittingly encouraging them to become masturbators later on?
Wait a minute. What? What parents do that?
I know.
What parents do that?
I know. This is 1973.
What parents do that?
This is 1973. And within the next few decades, it's going to blow up that there's rampant child abuse going on in the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Well, yeah. Parents are stroking their child's genitals to calm them down.
I know. What the fuck?
Is your baby crying too much? Have you tried just stroking his penis? What?
Dad.
Fuck. Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. So it goes on to say, boys and girls.
Yeah, masturbators have the problem.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Boys and girls may start to play with their private parts during puberty, and not receiving any counsel against this, the first thing they know, they are hooked on the habit. And if some know nothing about such self-abuse before entering high school, the chances are they will learn it from either fellow students or the teachers themselves. You know, those teachers giving all that advice on masturbating.
I can't even remember if we covered that in health class.
Masturbating? Yeah. I don't think you would.
It seems like a weird thing.
It probably is something that should be talked about in that context of like health class and everything, right. Obviously. But like, I don't think I would go to my English teacher and ask.
Yeah.
That's like kind of what it sounds like from this.
Johnson.
Yeah.
My church magazine said that you would know about masturbation. Can you tell me what it is?
Yeah.
No, I cannot. Says any teacher ever.
Right. They talk about like a few of the reasons why people masturbate. Boredom is a big reason why people masturbate.
I mean, yeah.
Unemployed people and prisoners, especially if they also are drug users.
Oh.
That's a big reason.
Okay.
If you're doing heroin, might as well stroke one out too. Quote, avoid keeping company with either pornographic literature or those who have loose morals. Which is a weird thing when you like immediately I was like, Jesus hanging out with tax collectors and hookers and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
How do you justify that?
Yeah.
But,
also, like, if you're hanging out with people who have loose morals, you're not masturbating. You're having sex.
Yeah. That's
right?
True. Right. Right. And then you're not spilling your seed on the ground.
No, you're just spilling it into somebody out of wedlock, which I guess is also wrong, I think, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
So it gets weirder.
Oh.
Well, it's a little bit weirder.
Can it get weirder than calming your children down by stroking their genitals?
It's not better, that's for sure. Quote, never be a loner seeking to isolate yourself. So at nighttime, arrange to share a bedroom with other members of the family. Sleep on the side, not on the back of your stomach. Which, like, at first I was like, so arrange to sleep with a family member, but then I realized, like, okay, they might be saying like you sleep like with somebody else in a separate bed,
right?
In that room,
yeah. Because if there's somebody else in the room, you won't.
Yeah, in theory,
masturbate, and then sleeping on your stomach or your back is bad. You have to sleep on your side. Can you not masturbate on your side?
That reminded me of The Road to Wellville with Anthony Hopkins playing the Kellogg guy, who was just this crackpot with all these different ideas about masturbation and health,
right,
and stuff like that. And is like stomach or
is it because when you're on your stomach you can hump the bed, and when you're on your back you can hump your hand, but when you're on your side there's nothing there to hump?
I guess. I don't know why that would stop you from humping your hand. Yeah. And then,
do you think whoever wrote this is a man and has a small penis, and when he lays on his side, it's just smushed between his legs? And he just assumes that's what all penises are like?
Right. Yeah. For these reasons, it is not only helpful, but often advisable to seek the aid and encouragement of a fellow Christian, of a Christian elder. When a girl has the problem, this is the final time we're talking about women doing this. When a girl has the problem, she may want to approach either an elder or a mature, respected Christian sister for help. Now, for the record, elders within the Jehovah's Witnesses are men.
Yeah.
Old men. Well, not necessarily old men, but like they're the men, the adult men.
Right. I didn't realize that Jehovah's Witnesses consider themselves a part of Christianity.
Yeah, I know. I always think that's weird too. They but they do. They get pissed off when you pretend like they're not Christians.
Ah, okay.
And it's like, which I always loved. Like the few times I've had Jehovah's Witnesses come to our door, I've loved to say, we're Christians now. Like, we're Christians too. I'm like, no, you're not. You think Jesus was the Archangel Michael. That's ridiculous.
I mean, Christianity is named after Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Right? That's the whole point of Christianity.
Right. Yeah. No, they think Jesus was the Archangel Michael. They also don't believe in the Trinity and stuff like that. Well, yeah. But besides that,
I think there's a lot of Christians who don't believe in the Trinity.
Yeah. And they have their own translation of the Bible and stuff like that, which has a few interesting differences to it. Yeah, so that was a weird article.
So if you're a woman, if you're a girl struggling with masturbation, go talk to one of them men.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, how fucked up is that? And then decades later, it comes out, all these kids are getting molested by elders.
Gross.
You would think God would have done something to stop them.
Right.
If their religion was real, maybe God would have done something about that.
Well, Josh, the hallmark of a solid religion is the ability to explain away why God isn't intervening in terrible situations.
I know, that's true. That's true. Check out our podcast, Bible Stories for Atheists, where we dissect the wholesome horror stories, literarily littering the Bible. And help us out by sharing this video with folks you think would like it. More info at bsfa.cc.